My dear friends, we gather here today to remember a very special person, a dear mother, a dear daughter, a dear sister, Gail, Carmen, Dowd, Miriam, Michla, Bas Chaim, Batsheva, who passed away this Tuesday afternoon, the 25th day of Tishrei in Chicago. We're going to start the service today, and the service is going to consist, whether you're here with us here in Champaign-Urbana, or whether you're here, whether you're in New York or North Carolina or anywhere around the world, you are part of this chesed shel emes, true kindness. The kindness that somebody cannot say thank you. Gail cannot personally say thank you for, but you're so appreciative that you are here. I'm going to recite a few psalms in Hebrew and then in English, and then we'll conclude together with a psalm that's on the booklet as well. Following that, we'll hear some words on Gail and on this time, and some thoughts from family as well. Chapter 1 of the book of Psalms, King David tells us and shares with us in this time of struggle words of comfort. Ashrei ha'ish asher lo halach ba'atzas r'shoim u'b'derech chatoim lo yamad u'b'moshev leitzim lo yashav ki im b'teres adinei cheftzei v'serasa yega yemim v'leila v'hayakeit shasel al palgei mayim asher pirya yitei be'itoi v'aleu lo yibal v'chol asher yasa yatzliach lo yichein harashayim ki im kamoitz asher tetevenu ruach al kein lo yakum rashayim b'mishpat v'chatoim b'adas tzadikim ki yedei adinei derech tzadikim v'derech hashayim tovet. Happy is the one who has not followed the counsel of the wicked, nor stood in the path of the sinners, nor sat in the company of the scornful. Rather, that one's delight is the Torah of the Lord, meditating in God's Torah day and night. And will be like a tree planted by the streams of water, that yields its fruit in season, whose leaf will not wither, and whatever that one does prospers. Not so the wicked are like chaff in the wind that drives away. Therefore, the wicked shall not survive judgment, nor sinners in the assembly of the righteous. For the Lord loves the way of the righteous, but the way of the wicked is doom. As today, we're in the month of Tishrei, which is a holiday month, where we do not say Tachanun, we do not say penitent prayers. We recite different psalms, because it's in these days, in these holy days, that holy souls are taken back to their Maker. And the holy souls, it's the days that gather and take them with them and accompany them into the world of truth. Psalm 16. Michtam leDavid Shemreni El ki chasisi vach. Amart ladinoi. Adinoi ata tevasi balalecha lakadoshim asher ba'aretz hema ba'dirik achutzivam yirbo atzvesem archan maharu ba'alasich niskei midam u'ba'al esa shemesem al svasai. Adinoi menas chalki v'chesi ata temich geirali. Chavalim nafuli b'neimim af nachal shafra aloi. Avarech asadinoi asher ye'atzuni af leilis yisiruni chilyaisai. Shivisi adinoi linegdi samid kimimeni bal emoit. Lachein semach libi v'yagel kavedi af psari yishkein levetach. Kilo sazov nafshi lisha leisitin chasidecha l'reshachas. Tedeini eidechayim seva semachas es penecha ne'imres b'mincha netzach. Michtam David, guard me, God, for in you I have taken refuge. You have said to the Lord, you are my Lord. I have no good beyond you. As for the holy ones are on the earth, and the mighty ones, in whom is all my desire. The sorrows will multiply, Those that run to other gods, their blood libation will not pour out, nor take their names upon my lips. The Lord is my allotted portion on my share. You sustain my fate. Portions have fallen to me in pleasant places. Lovely indeed is my estate. I will bless the Lord who has given me counsel. My conscience admonishes me at night. I have set the Lord before me always, because God is at my right side. I shall not falter. Therefore my heart rejoices, and my entire being exults. Also my body will rest secure, for you will not abandon me to the grave. Nor will you let your devout ones see destruction. You will make known to me the path of life. In your presence is fullness and joy. There is delight at your right hand for eternity. Share a few words about Gail. Miriam Michla, Bat Chaim, Bat Sheva, Gail, Deborah, Carmen, Dowd. Gail is the loving mother of Joshua, who's here. She's sister of Sandra. It says daughter of Sandy and of Ira. Sandy and Ira were thinking about you today from afar. A sister of Amy and James. And a dear aunt of Jeremy and Colby. Gail was born in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Eventually, after moving around, moved to Champaign as a child with her dear sister. After moving away in her adult life, she came back here, and I remember when I got that call in 2013 that I'm moving back to town with my son Josh, and I want to get involved in the Jewish community. I don't know if you remember, Josh, that first Shabbat, you guys came out already to Shabbat morning services with your mom. I remember that very vividly.
I remember that very vividly too.
How could you attempt to eulogize a special person? But the truth is, no matter how many words I shared about her life, it would never suffice. Gail, a person who pushed through good times and hard times. There's so much one could share. But I'll attempt to share some thoughts from my personal reflection and experience. And I'm sure Amy will fill a lot more than I can. And I have to also tell you that over the past couple of days, especially since yesterday, I received calls from friends of the family when you were growing up and shared different anecdotes as well. Growing up, Gail was fun, not so loud. She was happy, did her thing. She was strong personality, who did so many, who that strength, and that, as we say in Judaism about Jewish people, amkshe orafu, their stubbornness. Jewish people were stubborn, and that's what carries through struggles. That's what carries Gail as well. I was fascinated. I actually touched base with Rabbi Marks last night from Springfield, and as he and as Amy shared with me, as a young woman, Gail was stricken with a very rare form of cancer, which everyone said she would not make it through. But she fought and fought hard, and she made it through. And tomorrow would have been her 60th birthday. 30 more years, even through so much struggle. When I was speaking to different family members and friends, a lot of people shared about her fun personality, whether it was for playing chess in the Line Union, gardening activities, or other different activities. One thing I personally saw with my own eyes, Gail was a very devoted mother. She would do anything for Josh, and Josh in turn would do anything for his mother. Whenever I was in the hospital, Josh was always right there on the couch. And Gail would worry about Josh, and Josh would worry about Gail. In the times that I spent with Gail, I saw her as a fighter. She would never give up. She could be in the hospital or at home facing many, many different health challenges, but she always speaking about what's the next thing she's going to do to get better. Pushing through time and time again. Her parents, your love and your dedication were constant. Sandy always calling, without Gail knowing, to make sure, Rabbi, does Gail have this taken care of? Does Gail have that taken care of? Can you visit her? Can you see what's going on? How's Josh doing? Your dedication is something that was felt, and something that's going to stay connected forever. And Ira being on top of all the medical needs from New York, especially in the last few weeks, when things are going from here to there, making sure you're at top like a committed, dedicated father. making sure everything that's needed for the family and for Josh is something that will be known. And although things that might not be known in detail, but something that's going to be felt for very, very many years. And Amy, you as a sister, through the thick and through the thin, there's nothing like a sister. A bond of sisters is something very strong. Through the good, through the challenges, your love, down to this very day, standing here in Champaign, all the hours you put into making sure Gail's send-off will be to reflect her. And the entire life that you've had, from the young children till this very day, is a connection that's going to stay forever. We find ourselves in very, very interesting times during this COVID challenge, where so many of family and friends aren't even here in person, joining on Zoom, and it makes things harder, and it makes us feel challenged. But the truth is, it's in times like these that we have to come together even stronger. It's in times like these that we have to remember there's nothing stronger than family, nothing stronger than community. It's in times like these, as Amy shared with me this morning, something I didn't know until today. Gail's last worry was, will she have a minyan at her funeral? And little did we know, in a few hours, people that know and people that didn't know her are here to make sure that her send-off will be done in Jewish tradition. Gail, the impact that you've made on so many lives will be felt. The known and the unknown. Your family commits to continue everything that you love. They will go forward. Josh will go forward, building a active, proud life, a Jewish life, a life that you'll be proud of, Gail. The whole family will continue to do everything that was dear and near to you, emulating everything that was special. At Chabad, we're committed to continue everything that was dear and near to you, your Jewish heritage, your family. Your memory is going to be perpetuated for many long years. You know, it's interesting, as you all walked in here today, you got the Kaddish cards, and if you look at the Kaddish, it's actually, there's no mention there of death or dying, passing or deceased. It speaks about the greatness of God. And you may wonder, why are we saying Kaddish about that? You would think Kaddish is a prayer about death and dying. Because it's at times like this when we do not understand, why do things happen to people? Why do some people struggle and others don't? Why do some pass young? Why do any challenges happen? The reality is, we don't know God's ways. But we know that we praise His name because God understands and knows what's best for each and every person. And when we say the Kaddish, we're essentially saying, God, I throw my hands up in the air. I trust you that you're doing what's best for us. You know, in the Talmud, it says about our forefather Jacob, our father, never died. Yaakov Avinu lo met. And the Talmud says, what do you mean he never died? He was buried, he had a funeral. And the Talmud says, Mazar o b'chayim, afu b'chayim. Just like his descendants are alive, he is alive. Gail's descendants, both physical, those that she impacted spiritually, friends. By us, every one of us, by us continuing what's important to her, she lives on. Life is like a caterpillar that crawls on the ground, where the caterpillar eventually may go into a cocoon and come out as a butterfly. It's the same thing. The caterpillar, the butterfly, they're the same creation, just a different expression. Life on this earth is like the caterpillar. When someone passes away, the physical part of them might not be here anymore, but the soul lives on. They are the butterfly. It's another expression of the same person. And it's up to us to perpetuate and to do everything that was dear and near to Gail. Because in her lifetime, she had a physical part of herself that could do it. Her body, her personality, herself. When someone passes away, the physical may not be here, but the soul still wants to do good deeds and wants to help others and wants to impact others. And that's where we come into picture. By us doing things in her memory. Whether those of us that knew her personally or those that did not, we carry on and commit today to do everything that was important to her. The Talmud also shares that whoever participates in a funeral of an ish kosher, a kosher person, mochlin lo al kol avonotav, is forgiven on all their sins. Gail was a ish kosher, a good person, a kind person. We mourn her today and recognize who she was and what we could do to carry on As death in Judaism is not the end of life, but the culminations of one's accomplishments in life. We say in the book of Psalms, King David says, "Do not fear when a man grows rich, when the glory of his house is increased. For when he dies, he will take nothing. His glory will not descend after him, for he alone praises himself in his lifetime, but all will praise you if you better yourself." Although Gail may not be with us physically, her legacy will live on. And we ask you, Gail, to go up to heaven, to be, as we say in Yiddish, a guter better. Pray on behalf of your mom, your dad, your sister, brother-in-laws, nephews, and your son Josh, and for all your friends that care about you. Be a guter better. Demand from God for only health, happiness, and only goodness for them and for the entire world in this challenging time. This time, I want to ask Amy if you could please share a few words with us about Gail and your experience, your relationship.
On behalf of my parents who can't be here today, I thank all of you. I am the younger sister of Gail. When you're the younger sister, you look up to that big sister forever. They're your best friend. They teach you everything. They teach you what to like. I learned peanut butter and jelly sandwiches were good. Fresh tomatoes were good. Gardening is good. The Atlantic Ocean is good. Fried clams are good. As little girls, we watched Here Come the Brides. And we vowed that we'd have sons. And she vowed that she would name her son Joshua, and she did. And I vowed I would name my son Jeremy, and I did. And we vowed that we would love our sons with all our hearts, and we would always take care of them, and we would always keep them close. And we would be the best mothers we could be. And we did. Gail was fun. She was spunky. She was flirty. She was silly. She was a good time. She got sick young in life. She fought on for 30 years. Hey, Ray. She had a lot of health struggles. She lived with chronic pain and chronic illness. Miraculously, she made it through all of that until COVID. Many of you have stood by her throughout the course of her life and have loved her, have been in pain with her, and have suffered with her. And today, she rests. She's in peace. She does not feel pain. The rabbi says she hears us, and she's here. And I know that's true. I hope from the bottom of my heart that all of you who stood by her and who love her will look forward to peace and hope and love and abundance, and that you will take her energy and her stubbornness in your heart with you as you go forward, and you will make your life beautiful. That's what she would want. And if we ever feel that we can't do it or it's too much, we can think of her. We can think of this moment in time. And we can think of all the things that she would have wanted coming together perfectly. This place, this rabbi, casket whose name is Joshua. These beautiful flowers. These birds that are chirping, the sun that is shining. Remember her with love. Remember her with peace.
I met Gail 35 years ago, I think, at a chess tournament. She exclaimed she was the only female at the tournament. I heard her exclaim in displeasure at some oversight of the kind that befalls all chess players. The first time that we ever played each other, she defeated me. I believe this is one of the memories she cherished for the rest of her life. She always, before her illnesses, throughout her life, she tried always to be cheerful. I remember a recurring phrase from our time together: bright and cheery, and that summed up the way her overall attitude, even in the face of various difficulties. The real world often sort of was unkind to her in many ways, but she tried to have a spirit, a childlike spirit. She, as many of you know, she had various, she for a long time she had a Raggedy Ann doll, and there was also Mrs. Beasley. I believe that Mrs. Beasley, the first of several Mrs. Beasleys that she shared time with, was a present from her loving father, Ira, when Ira got tenure. But there was, she made up stories about them. The Raggedy Ann was married to Raggedy Ariel. And I think Raggedy Ariel was a professor at Columbia Medical School. And she also had, she also enjoyed Gumby and Pokey. She had a Candyland that she enjoyed, and to the end, she had a tremendous memory. We shared many jokes over the years, and even in her unhappiness and illness of her last year or two, she still was remembering jokes that we shared 30 years ago. And there were times when her memory and my memory clashed on certain details. We'll never know which of us was right, but I certainly cherish all of my memories of her.
I was her only son, first of all. So I want to thank you all for coming. I appreciate it. She was a good woman. Like everybody said, she was a true fighter. She was really stubborn, even especially towards the end there. And I just hope everybody that knew her takes a little bit of, or a little piece of her with you forward. And she was a great woman. So, thank you. Josh and Charles. Sure, it's a small window into her personality. And there's so much more. I'm sure as the time would go, we'll continue to learn. Before we have the burial service, we'll conclude with Psalm 23. It's in your papers. I'll first read it in its Hebrew, and then we'll read it together in English. Mizmor David, Adonai Roi lo yachzor, b'nei shtesha yarbitzeni, memenuchas yina'aleni, nafshi yeshev v'yancheni, v'maget tzedach l'man shemoi, gam ki eilech b'geit tzalmaves, la'idera ki ata imadi, shivtecha umishantecha, hema yanachamuni, tareich lefonei shulchan egan tzedek, deshanta v'shem v'chayis, v'yei achti v'chesed d'funi kol mechayai, B'shafti b'veis Adonai li'oilech yamim. Please join me in its translation inside your papers, booklets that you were given. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in the path of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk in the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest the table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Conclude with a prayer for the soul of Gail. El Molei Rachamim, Shoichem Mimraimim, Hamsei Menucha Nechoina, Al Kanfei HaShechina, B'malois Kedoshim Utahorim, Kezer Akir Masirim, Es Nishmahas. Miriam Michla Baschayim Ubasheva Shahachaloi Lama Bavusha Nachnu Mispalam Adaskarish Nishmasa Began Eden Taim Nuchasa Lachim Alachim Estereha Beshes Knafu Lama Vitzra Betzorachim Es Nishmasa Adonai Onachalasa Besanuach Bashal Mishkava Venemar Amen. O God, full of compassion, who dwells on high, grant perfect rest beneath the sheltering wings of thy presence, among the holy and pure who shine on the brightness of the firmament of the soul of Gail, Deborah, Carmen, Dowd, who has gone unto eternity. Lord of mercy, bring him under the cover of thy wings, and let his soul be bound in the bond of eternal life. Be God's possession, may repose be in peace, and we say, Amen. Time, we participate in what's called Chesed Shel Emes, true kindness. It's a kind of kindness that somebody cannot thank you for, but it's the ultimate kindness that you could do. Ready? The last physical mitzvah that someone could do in their life. God has created humans from earth, and we return to earth. As the desire of everyone is to be in the earth of the Holy Land, we have over here some earth from Jerusalem, from Mount of Zion, from Har Zayim, from Mount of Olives. Of the family, put some of this earth in the casket. But afterwards, we'll put the lid on and we'll lower, and then we'll all participate in putting earth in as well. Put the cord out of the bag. Just right on the top, and it's done, and then. So we're going to cover the casket, and then we're going to lower afterwards. We have gloves. People can put on gloves, so when we pass the shovel from hand to hand, we keep COVID safe. If you don't have gloves, we'll be given a pair of gloves. And then first we'll have the family, and then others. So our funeral director is going to come around with some disposable gloves.
There's hand sanitizer as well on the lectern when you're done shoveling.
start with the family. Josh. Each come on one side over here. Josh, come to this side. So, Jewish tradition, the burial is actually the most important part of the service. As I said earlier, it's called Chesed Shel Emes, true kindness. Because usually when you do something for a lover, they'll be able to thank you. But now they can't thank you, but they are thanking you. They can't thank you physically. The tradition that we don't hand the shovel from hand to hand because it's not a job you want to give somebody to have to participate in the burial, but at the same time it is something you want to participate. So after you put 3 shovels in, stick it back in the ground and step back, and other people line up to come around, but in a social distance way. So start with Josh. So we're going to try to do as much as we can ourselves. If we can do everything, that would be. Sides to make space between each person. After you remove your gloves, there's hand sanitizer on the podium that you can use as well. Anyone that can participate, we appreciate it. We want to try to put as much as we can. Come to both sides. We have room on the other side also. This is one of my friends. anyone who has extra energy, invited to come by, so we'll try to get as much covered as we can. Not all. First time, right? No, been here a couple of times. Me, yes. It's an expansion, this is more just that's what we were kind of wondering. This is the old. Able-bodied people want to come put a few more shovels in. Try to cover as much as we can by ourselves. And we're going to love ones we take care of my fellow loved ones. Asking why we fill up the earth in a grave. A lot of times you go to funerals and people step away with the grave still open. But actually, in a tradition, this is the most important part of a burial. The soul is at rest only when the grave is covered. And then it knows it could go on in peace. Even as I said, today is the day that we don't say Tachanun. So that different prayers that we don't say today. We do say it to the Neshama of Gail. Go up to heaven. Gail, be at peace. Don't worry, your family's going to do everything you got to do. Josh is going to do everything he got to do, right, Josh? Yes, sir. Yes, Rabbi. And you can be at peace knowing that you have to do what you have to do, Gail. The journey on this earth has come, the physical journey has come to its completion. And now your soul journey continues to live on forever. family that was sharing how the family was close to Rabbi Newman, who was the rabbi here for many years at the temple. Rabbi Newman and I always had this thing that we never left the cemetery until everything was covered. So, that point there, so today. As long as you have a good time. Morning Kaddish is going to be recited. This time, Morning Kaddish will be recited. It's the back of your pages. Saying Kaddish are very important things. We can say Kaddish for a loved one, sending them regards, learning something in their memory, sending them a letter, doing something in their memory, and sending them a gift. We commit to do all three. Kaddish is at the back page. It's Hebrew and English. It's Hebrew, and the bottom is English and Hebrew as well. Hebrew and English. Ready? Go ahead. You ready? Amen. The third line. Bizman, Kariv, Beimu, Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabba Korah, Amen, Amaya, Yitkaraf, Yishtabach, Yitpahar, Yitroman, Yitnaseh, Yitnadar, Yithaleh, Yithalal, Shemei Dekusha, Rithu, Le'elam, Min, Kol, Birchata, Beshirata, Tushbechata, Lenechemata, Da'amiran, Da'alma, Ve'imru, Amen. Yehi Shlama, Rabba, Min, Shmaya, B'chayim, Aleinu, B'chal, Kol, Yisrael, Ve'imru, Amen. Oseh Shalom B'Moav, Uyaseh Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Ve'imru, Amen. The soul, Gail, be at peace as he goes on his journey from here in the earth below to his place in the world to come. At this time, morning begins. The family sits Shiva from today until next Thursday morning. Shiva doesn't mean it's about welcoming many people. Shiva is the personal observance of the family as well, wherever they are, whether you're in New York, North Carolina, Champaign-Urbana, wherever you may be. So when someone is mourning, we are all here to support you. We are all here to be here for you and to be here with you. So at this time, as the family returns to their car, we will make a line on each side and they'll walk through us as we'll say the words of Amakom Yinachem Etchem. Before we do that, we'll take a moment of quiet where we think about any hurt that you may have in your life, or any feeling that you may have to let go. We forgive, and we forgive, and we ask Gail to forgive us for anything we may have done. And it should only be goodness. At this time, I would like to ask everyone that's here to stand and make like an aisle, like some on this side over here and some on that side over there. And you right here.
Just make an aisleway to the road.
Standing shoulder to shoulder, please. With social distancing.
Give them more. Everyone's comfortable. Here we go. This concludes service. So as the family walks through, we say the words of Akom Menachem Etchem Etem Shav Eretz Yerushalayim, which are on your papers, which means may God comfort you amongst the mourners of Zion and Jerusalem. Because as you are mourning, we are all with you, mourning with you as well. We are all thinking of you, and as you are mourning, Zion mourns with you, and just as Zion will be rebuilt, it's hard to imagine today that you are going to find the strength and the comfort to continue living life for many things, good things forward. You guys go forward. Everyone says, Hamakom Yinachem Etchem Toch Shar Avelei Tzion V'Yerushalayim, which means may God comfort you amongst the mourners of Zion and Jerusalem. This concludes the service. Thank you all for coming. When you take off your gloves, please take them inside out, and there's hand sanitizer right here on the podium.